Okay, this is Ivy Vainio from the American Indian Community Housing Organization. I'm the Cultural Arts Coordinator, and we're here today with Robert DesJarlait, and today's date is July 22nd. We have his art show in our Dr. Robert Paulus Cultural Center at AICHO, and the show has 28 pieces and is entitled Ojibwe Manidoowewin. And the show will be, the first day of the show was July 10th. It will come down on September 11th. Right now it's only virtual, and we are hoping to open up in the future social distantly so people can come into the gallery and view it. And so I'm gonna turn it over to Robert, who is a Red Lake Nation member, and he's gonna introduce himself and then talk about each of the works in the show. So Robert.
Oh, miigwech. Nisogujik in the Ojibwe Manidoowewin, Makwa in the Dane, anyway, Saga Ganing in the Chiba. And I didn't know for sure if this exhibition was going to happen. When we originally got together on the idea, I think I signed the contract in last January, before the pandemic. And the pandemic came along, and I wasn't too sure about what was going to happen. We did lose 1 month to the pandemic. It was originally supposed to open in June. And so Ivy came up with the idea of doing a virtual art show. And, I'm interested to see how that's going to work out. I know she's really putting that together. And the art show is basically a spirit of the Ojibwe people. That's what the title of the art show means, Ojibwe Manidoowewin. And the concept that's formed a part of my art ever since I began doing art back in 1983. I've always felt that my art depicted some aspect of Ojibwe culture. And, one of the things about my art is titling my art in Ojibwe Manidoowewin. I began doing that back in 1984. And, I think the first solo exhibition I had, there were 31 works in that show, and about half of them were titled in Ojibwe. It was just something I felt compelled to do. Not only were my paintings depicting my people, but also providing something of our language. And back in the 80s, we didn't have too much regarding language like we do today. So I kind of struggled with doing titles back then. I was using the Braga dictionary, and I was also using a Ojibwe word list book by Nichols and Nyholm, which later became the Ojibwe dictionary used today. So those were the two things I was working with to name some of my work back in the 80s. And, I'm not by any means a fluent speaker of the language. I try to do the best I can. One of my language teachers, I've had several good language teachers, Dennis Jones, Larry McSmallwood, and Rick Rizek, and one thing that I learned from Rick is even if you don't really know the language that well, to take the words that you do know and use the hell out of them. That's what he said. So uh, I felt that was kind of a good thing because it kind of gave my work credibility in naming my work in Ojibwe Manidoowewin. But I think when people come to the virtual show and they look at the artwork, you know, I know they're not going to be familiar with the language. They probably don't know if they're reading Russian or Chinese. And I know they would never be able to pronounce it. Some people will be able to, language speakers. And we don't have words for everything. Some of the titles I had to work around certain phrases. So I'm gonna go through some of the, I'm gonna go through the whole list here of the work in the show. And I'll give the Ojibwe name first and then the English translation. And the first piece is Kanaway Din Yumen. And that shows, that depicts a healthcare provider in a mask offering tobacco, the eagle hovering over her. And what that means, I wanted to name it the protector, but we don't have that word in our language. So I had to use Kanaway Din Yumen, which means protecting each other. It does, I think, say what that particular piece means. The healthcare provider is protecting us by putting out tobacco, protecting himself, protecting the community. And the eagle is the one who takes our prayers and takes them to the Creator. So the eagle is protecting us by carrying the prayers. So that's the meaning, basic meaning of the first work. And all these paintings have their own interpretations. So when you look at the artwork, you'll be able to read a little bit more about it. Second piece is Nagaman Manidoowewin, which means song of life. And singing has always been a part of our culture. I know that most of us are familiar with Powell song. But there are a lot of different other songs that our people sang. There are certain songs that women sang. And, so when I did that piece, I kind of wanted to emphasize the importance of singing in our culture. Of course, there's not just a Native woman, there's three other women in the painting, and together they're singing a song of life. Third piece is Lynch, which means say his name. And that's a piece I did in regards to George Floyd. That was my response. Lynch can also mean say her name. In the context that I used it, I'm using it say his name. And, that piece I did go down to the memorial site. And I put a bundle of sage and tobacco tie at the mural, and that was a powerful experience for me. And so when I did that piece, kind of going by my experiences that I felt down there. And, it actually went and got in a way, Indian protecting each other, actually companion pieces. Fourth piece is Nimi Bago Penchige, which is Dance of Hope. And I did that piece in 2014. I was about several months after my first cancer surgery, and I had attended the Hollow for Hope, sponsored by the American Indian Cancer Foundation. And, dancing is always an important part of our culture, and even though we may dance, just the enjoyment of dancing, dancing also incorporates healing, and spiritual meaning. And when I did that piece, it was the first, kind of my first attempt at coming back to fine art. Because there was a period of time when I didn't do fine art. I got drawn away from it. Began going into schools, that took me away from it. Began doing community murals. That all took me away from my painting. And so AICHO Hope was sort of my first attempt to try to come back at fine art. And with that, I was working with basically with colors to see if I could still put these colors together in the image itself. So it was kind of the doorway coming back to fine art. Next piece is Ivy Vainio, which is summer camp, and that's a little bit of an ambitious piece because it shows the whole summer camp. So it's kind of what do you want within summer, has a holes for fishing nets, canoe, has a Three Sisters garden in it, and I can imagine man who's been out in the woods all day trapping and he's coming home. He has some otters over his shoulder. And families come up to read him. I just wanted to show in that painting how normal our lifestyle was. It wasn't necessarily a struggle to survive. Anishinaabe people were very resourceful people. There's so many things they could do. And that's what a lot of my paintings about are the activities they engaged in and how they used and the natural resources around them. Next piece is Manidoowewin, which is ceremony. And that shows a mother on the shore of Red Lake holding her baby. And, next to her, the pipe and shell, eagle feather. And that's kind of a personal piece because she serves as kind of a metaphor for my own mother. When I did that, I was thinking about my own mother. How giving birth and having a child in and of itself is a ceremony. It isn't necessarily the pipe and the eagle feather that make it a ceremony. It's the communication between the mother and child that makes it a ceremony. Next one is Ojibwe Manidoowewin, which is mother and child. That shows the mother who's reclining. She has her baby in her arms, and again, I want to emphasize mothers and children. There's a couple of pieces in the art show where you can see that. I think part of it is from my own experiences with my own mother. The other thing is my wife, Nan. She used to be a midwife. So I learned a lot of things from her about prenatal care and having babies. All our children were born at home. Actually, the last one was Ina, and we're waiting for the midwife to get to the house. The baby was coming out. So man had to tell me what to do. Of course, I'm all paranoid. I mean, even though I had witnessed the birth of my previous children, I had never really participated in doing it. I just remember putting my hands underneath there and being a papa, you know, and, pretty cool. So, you know, there's a certain relationship I have. I mean, mother and infant, very close to that. The next painting is Gashka Bida Gan Ikwe, bandolier bag woman, and this is kind of a more typical type of work that I do that shows somebody engaged in activity. A lot of these activities that I did were influenced by my dad's art. The difference is with my dad's art, he did activities with Ojibwe people. He was growing up. So he showed activities from like the 1920s, 1930s, up to the current time. And when I began my art, I didn't want to do that. I wanted something different. So I went back and showed activities, you know, from 200, 300 years ago. The important point is that we were doing these things hundreds of years ago, and we're still doing them today. Shows the resilience and the ability of our culture. Then there's a Manidoowewin saga again, Spirit of the Lake. And that's the Land of Lake Maiden, yeah. Of course, there's a lot of controversy about what happened, and he took her off of the butter box. I had my own feelings about that. I didn't know it would turn out to be such a media thing. Maybe it's because of the pandemic. Maybe they needed some diversion in the news, but it's all I know. I get interviewed by New York Times, Post, Star Tribune, getting interviewed by all this media about the controversy over her. And so I decided I would do a piece and reinvent her, so to speak, re-image her. My dad re-imaged me in 1954, I think. He made changes to her. So I decided to do the same thing, but I wanted to make it more culturally correct. So that's why she's in the strap dress. Instead of holding the butter box, she's holding the first part box. Then there's a Misko Udas red dress. And that's a painting that booked in MIW. Again, with that one, I want to show the murdered and missing Native women isn't something that's current or contemporary, that our women were murdered and missing a long time ago during the fur trade. Something that's been unending for women. Then there's Gigun Ikegwe, Gigun Ikegwe what? Which means fisherwomen. And doing that piece, I was thinking about Bear Lake Fisherman, which is one of my father's most famous paintings. And I kind of want to do my own one version of it that only have women. Because women did often go out and get their nets in the morning. So it was one of those activities that was shared by both men and women. But in mine, I wanted to emphasize women engaging in that activity. And then there's Ojibwe Ashtikwe, cattail woman. And, I know Ivy really liked that one. She liked so much she bought it. And the woman was going out and pregnant, she's getting cattails with huge fluff. And she used that for kind of a traditional disposable diaper for a baby. But one thing that that painting emphasizes again, how resourceful our people were. They found uses for all kinds of things in the environment. And then, next painting is Dako Bijigan, tied rice. And even though I'm showing it in a traditional time period, tying rice is something that we still see today. Still families go out, tie the rice to mark off their area where they'll be harvesting at the moment. That painting is Ojibwe Manidoowewin, and that's the hunter. And that painting shows how he survived in the winter. Hunter's gone out, gotten gear, returning to a small village, and that they were shared with the family in the village. Next painting is Mami Gwenda Sama Nagabo. And that's a piece that I did, kind of a, I don't know if it's called a memorial type piece. The hand bear that's been upgraded, wearing woodland clothing, got a turban on, and here. Wanted to remember my dad through the ham bear. That one of the things he was famous for was creating the ham bear. So it was my response to that, doing the bear a little bit differently. Then there's also some retrospective work in the show. These are pieces that basically my wife owned, although the few, I think there's two of them for sale, but the first one is Win Eastwood Dinan in Fort Hill, and kind of shows where my art was way back in the 1980s. Certainly been changes to my art in that time period. Nevertheless, underscores kind of themes I was working with. Fort Hills is for traditional teaching. And it's actually a theme that I've done on several other works. I have a mural at Minnesota Indian Women's Research Center called the Fort Hills Alive. In that one, I have female aspect, childhood, youthhood, adulthood, fatherhood. So in the drawing, I've gone to the men, and that one will see the same thing. One of the things we're taught about is how life is 4 hills to life. have to ascend each hill and then come down each hill. And the struggle is going over the four hills. A lot of people don't make it to the fourth hill. That's when you get old, and elders. So getting to that fourth hill isn't easy, and I think about it. I know that. I know when I get to the top of that hill, I'm not going to be coming down. But I think it kind of allows you to have a kind of a healthy look at life as well. That at a certain point, we won't be here anymore. You go into the next level of existence. The next piece is drawing Ojibwe Sega means homework, and that's a personal piece about my mother. It was about 6 or 7 months after she passed away, and relating it to the journey we made when we go to the spirit world, in the canoe and across the river. Then there's a large drawing, Ojibwe Saga again, that's a UAG for a lake offering. And again, a lot of my work, I try to emphasize how we use the four medicines: sage, tobacco, grass, cedar, and how we offer those, pray, asking for help. And, so that's what that particular piece is emphasizing, offering the medicine. Then there's Day Minowa goes this, which is father and son. And that drawing is probably the closest I've done to doing something that looks like my dad's art. You look at the faces, you see the angular lines that make up the faces, kind of the rounded figures. And, so that one is strongly influenced by my dad's work. I mean, one of the things I wanted to do with my art, and I wanted to try to get away from that style. I didn't want to carry on his art. I didn't have the capabilities in that. There's no way I could ever paint like my dad painted. I didn't really want to imitate his style using another medium. So, but every once in a while, you can see in my early work that there's early influence there. So through the years, it's been more of a process of making my own stuff stronger, making my own statement, my own style of art. And then there's this Gamile Saga again, for Lake Warrior Death Song. That's probably one of my favorite paintings. A lot of people wanted to buy that one when I had it in my show, but I gave it to Nam, and so that one remains in our family. And then there's Ojibwe Manidoowewin, which is basically the origin story, story about a hero who had what you call a magic moccasin. When you put the moccasins on the ground, they could lead them to game, hunting, or they could lead them to the enemy. When you look at the painting, see the moccasin right with the beach cloth. Then there's the way to noon Minowa then Manawa there, that Northwind woman with a little wolf in their heart, and that's a very personal piece. Showed man. Um, we were expecting twins. And, our twins were born premature. They came out of the womb, but right. And so I did that drawing to one of them. But they were given names. That was one of the things about them. Eventually, in order to get the bodies from the hospital, we had to have them cremated. So after we had that done, we had a service down here. We had one up in Red Lake. And, we ashes on Red Lake. Next piece is Shawi Nim, which is the blessing. And that's also another personal piece. Before Little Wolf and Bear Heart, Anne did have a little spirit in her womb, a miscarriage, but I did give it a name. I think even when you have a miscarriage, you remember those that have impact or at least for a period of time we were there, we were alive. Sometimes the spirits are called back when they come to the land and living. And the next piece is Vishandige Gilligan, is Unfinished Garden, and that's a self-portrait, and that's about my cancer journey. Title for that from a poem, I think, in the 17th century. I can't recall the man's name, but he was a philosopher, and basically what he was writing about that, you know, in life we have these gardens, and we should always continue to grow our garden, to harvest our garden. There'll be a point when we have to leave. And we live with unfinished gardens. Until then, we continue to nourish those gardens and make them grow. And that's a person who's related to been a week. We go in the beginning, and it kind of takes art all the way back to the beginning when some of our people painting on rocks. Let's go to the Canadian Shield country along the border. On those rock paintings, so there, where art has its beginning, and also where language has its. All languages within art. And so that's kind of a piece that adds stability to the entire art that is the show, because it was always at the point when we began doing art. Next piece is Shijun Opagwan, Fight Maker, and that's a little bit mistitled, but it actually means make fight, making a fight. Couldn't find there was no word for fight maker. So I used that phrase to convey the meaning that the individual fight. I did a drawing of that a long long time ago, had a student in a class asked me how they made pipes a long time ago and have drills. So I talked to some pipe makers and did some research on how they do that. Then the next piece is Migadi Wine Wayequa Manwa. That's Battle at Sandy Beach, and that's a historical piece. And the Battle at Sandy Beach was a pivotal battle that happened up at River Lake, based on stories I was told by the grandfather and other elders. And there might be some dispute about this, but I was told that this is how River Lake got its name. There's so many the warriors that were killed in that battle that their blood went into the lake. And, that's how River Lake got its name. The last piece is AICHO Zini, storyteller. And, what I want to do with that one, I want to take a person inside of the lodge, show what it looks like. I think there might be kind of a stereotype that we want to do cramped dome structures. But actually, depending on the size of the family, it could be spacious. It had to be large enough to hold a lot of items, hang items up. Also, there were platforms that were built along the side of the wigwam. That's what people sat on. So I want to bring the viewer inside the wigwam, sort of, and also to depict an important piece of our culture, storytelling, and engage in. So that's, I think that we call painting.
Yes, Miigwech for going through all those with us. And is there anything else you'd like to add about the show, or what you want viewers, either virtually and hopefully sometime in person, what you want them to walk away with from seeing your work?
Well, I want them to walk away with knowledge, that they learn something about Ojibwe people. And not only non-Ojibwe people, I think there's Ojibwe people that can learn from art as also. A lot of our people who don't know their history. And, so the art provides uplifting history and about how our culture was. I will be doing a couple of essays. I'm working on an essay right now. I hope to have that done by Friday. What I'll do, I'm going to have 2 or 3 essays, and I'll be publishing those on my art website. And I'm thinking that you'll be able to take the link. But the first one talks a little bit about my concept, philosophy about my art. I also talk a little bit more about using language in my art. The other thing I get into, I explain where that mysterious wolf paw comes. Everything I sign is with that wolf paw. People have always asked me, where's that wolf paw? The first essay, I'm going to cover that. This isn't going to be a long essay, it's going to be short. There's 2 paintings I'm going to go into detail about. So, again, I hope they have that. And then there's the art talk, artist talk. probably be working on that next week. I think a good time to put it in is in the middle of the show. So by the time August first rolls around, it should be available. Put it into the sound all right to you, Ivy?
It sounds perfect, Robert. Yeah, no, that sounds really exciting. I'll look forward to getting those and sharing those. And yeah, so I'm very thankful that you spent this time with us today. I'm gonna put this up on our YouTube page, but also put it into the virtual gallery program that I'm creating for the show. And so each piece will have your audio that you spoke about that piece. When people go up to that piece and click on it, then they'll hear you talk about that piece. And so I think that's really important. It gives people can read the description that you have for it when they also click on that, but to actually hear your voice and hear you speak about it gives it a deeper experience and meaning. And so thank you for going through this with us. What else was I going to say? Oh, there was something, but I lost it. So I guess I'm gonna stop the recording, but don't you go away yet, Robert. Don't leave me. So I'm gonna stop the recording. If I, oh, there.